Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this is a continuation from our cutting video. Okay, so in this video we're going to be joining all the pieces together. Okay, so I've gone ahead to the cut them out on fabric. Okay, so these are the two back pieces. I also cut the linings as well. Okay, so and then I gave a notch here so that I will know the one that is facing the chest line. I don't know if you can see the notch. There's a notch on all of them for the chest line. If not, the moment you place them like this, you will not even know where is facing the chest line. Okay, so that is it for the back, and then for the front as well. This is it. Our paper, our patterns are still in place. Now I also cut out the linings as well. Okay, so then I went ahead to cut out our wording for the padding. So I've cut the pads out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to place them, is to use iron. And the next thing I'm going to do is to separate them with, separate the pins, then iron this on the lining. Okay, I'm going to iron the wordings on the linings alone, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I've ironed down hairstay on the lining and on the fabric. I also went ahead to mark 0.5 inch for the joining. So I marked that round on the lining and on the fabric as well. So I like to mark so it will be easier when we get to the machine. Now this is the back pieces on the main fabric. So I also marked the 0.5 joining allowance. I did the same on the lining as well. Now these are our cups. Okay, I went ahead to give them a notch to indicate the bust point so that we don't get confused. Okay, now we're going to go right into the joining. I will demonstrate how we'll be joining it. So we'll pick one side, and we'll pick one from the other side. So we're basically aligning the notches. Okay, so align the notches like so, and then we'll use 0.5 to join it. Okay, now we're doing the same on both the fabric and the lining as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how we'll be joining it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pick two pieces. Okay, aligning the notches, then we'll use our pin to join. But on the sewing machine, you're going to sew around your marked 0.5. Okay, now when you're done, this is how it will look. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and join that, and I'll show us. All right, so we are back. I've gone ahead to join the cup and fixed one on the lining. Okay, now I joined the second one like so, and then I went ahead to trim it so it will be a bit flat inside. Now we're going to join. Okay, so we're going to join the top part of the cup using 0.5. Remember our notch showing the center front. Okay, now we're going to place it like so, and then we'll join. You find out that they are both going to meet. Okay, so that shows that we cut well. Now yours should be this way. No one should be longer than the other. So we'll go ahead and take this to the sewing machine and join using 0.5 inch. Okay, and after that I'll go ahead and give it a good press so that it will lay flat. Then I'll fix it on that side of the lining. Now I've gone ahead to do the same on the main fabric. Okay, so this second part I will do just like I've explained to us. I'll align my notches, mark my 0.5, and then join it like I explained to us. Okay, so I'm done joining the pieces together. I also pressed it. Okay, so here are the back pieces. I've joined them together. That's the two back pieces, and we're going to look out for that notch that we have on the chest line. Okay, because I was a bit confused now. Thank God for the notch. Okay, so we're going to look out for those notches on the chest line. Okay, now we're going to attach it to the front, but before we do that, I also went ahead to join the front pieces together, and then I have gone ahead to encase the center front. Okay, but I'll show us how to encase. Now we'll do the encasing using Regilene bone. Okay, now Regilene bone is the bone that you can sew on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and mark our boning lines. Just choose the style that you want, but I've gone ahead to mark my boning line. Sorry, it looks a bit faint, so you can't see that. Now you go ahead and measure, and what I have there is 5.25. Okay, now we're going to subtract 1 inch from that 5.25, because half inch will be for the joining to the cup, and then half inch will be for the joining to the skirt. Okay, and your bonings are not supposed to enter your seam lines. So you make your measurement, you subtract 1 inch from whatever you got, and you go ahead and measure that out on your Regilene bone. Okay, so we'll place our tape on the Regilene bone like so, and we'll measure out 4.25. Okay, then we'll cut out. Okay, so you go ahead and measure the other side of the style line, but you should have the same thing. Okay, so I measured and I have the same 5.25. You subtract 1 inch and you have 4.25. So I will simply cut that out on my Regilene bone like so. Okay, now we'll proceed to the encasing. Okay, so to encase, you cut out a piece of fabric measuring 2 inches wide. Okay, now you go ahead and measure 0.5 from the top of that fabric. So you measure 0.5 and you give a mark there. Now you go ahead and place that Regilene bone that you have cut out. So you place it, and you're also going to measure 0.5 after the Regilene bone. Okay, so we have 0.5 before the Regilene bone is placed, and 0.5 after the Regilene bone is placed like so. Okay, so you're also placing the Regilene bone 0.25 before the edge of the fabric that you cut out. Now, the whole essence of the 0.5 that we came down with is because when you're done and it's time to fix your cups, your bone is not supposed to enter your seam lines. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take this to the sewing machine and sew. Okay, so I'm done joining. As you can see, I stitched on 0.25 away from the edge of the fabric. I did the same on the other side as well. Okay, leaving 0.5 at the top and at the bottom as well. Now let's encase. Okay, so you first fold in that 0.25 like so. Then you fold again. Now the remaining fabric, you're going to collapse it on the boning like so. Okay, now I'll take that again. You first fold in your 0.25 that we sewed down like so. Okay, then you fold the other side of the fabric on top of your first fold. Just watch what I'm doing carefully. Then you're going to place it on your style line. Okay, your marked line on your fabric, and then you're going to stitch both sides. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, okay, so I also went ahead to mark more boning lines. Okay, so I'm going to be boning that joining that we have in the center front. Okay, so I'll bone them and then I'll come back and show us. Okay, so I'm done encasing. Okay, I also went ahead to give it a good press so that it will lay flat. Okay, now we're going to fix our cups. Remember the notch that we have that is indicating the part facing the center front. Now you're going to align your cups according to the notch. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and join the second cup like so. I'll align my notch and I'll join it using 0.5. Okay, so I'll go ahead and join and then fix my cup, and I'll come back and show us. Okay, so I fixed my cups. I'm done with the lining part. Okay, I fixed the cups. I fixed the back as well, the side backs. So I'll just go ahead and press the seam lines open. Okay, now for the main fabric, I just said let me show us how I fixed the bias. Okay, so I just cut out my bias, placed it right side facing the right side of the main fabric, then stitched it down. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to flip it and top stitch. Okay, so the only stitch you're going to be seeing there is a top stitch. Okay, so that's what I did on the other cup. Now we're going to go ahead and give it a good press. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fix my cup. I'll align the notch. Okay, then after that I'll pick up my side back. Okay, now you remember the allowance we left when we were cutting our 1 inch allowance. I'll go ahead and mark that down like so. Then we'll connect. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so we'll take that to the sewing machine and join. All right, so I'm done joining my cups. I've joined the back pieces as well, and then I pressed the seam lines open. Okay, now I did the same on the lining as well. Okay, so the next thing for us to do is to turn the main fabric with our lining. Okay, but before we do that, we need to um cut out our loops. So I went ahead to cut out my loops, and then each one is measuring 2 inches long. Okay, so let's measure that part. So the first thing you do is to measure out 0.5 inch at the top, at the chest line, and you measure out 0.5 inch at the waistline as well. Then we're going to measure what we have in the middle. Okay, now the 0.5 um at the chest line is for turning of the lining, and then the 0.5 at the waistline is for joining to the skirt. Okay, so we are measuring what we have in the middle, and we have 7 inches. Now the space between one loop and the other, I want it to be 1 inch. So I'm marking my 1 inch, okay, on that line. Now I'll go ahead and do the same on the other side of the back as well. I'll go ahead, I'll first measure my 0.5 on the chest line. Then I'll go ahead and measure my 0.5 on the waistline as well. Then I'll measure what I have in the middle and divide it just by 1 inch. I just keep marking my 1 inch like so until I exhaust that 7 inches in the middle. Okay, so to fix our loop, you first get one, then place it straight like so. We stitch on the 0.5, then you twist it and you stitch again. Okay, then you get another one, you first stitch, then you go ahead and twist it and stitch again. So you continue this until you exhaust that 7 inches we have in the middle. We'll also do the same at the other side of the back, and then I'll show us. Okay, so before we get to the machine for joining, we need to join our straps as well. So let's bring our pattern. Okay, I've not thrown that away. Now we'll get our pattern pieces. Okay, then we'll go ahead and measure the straps. Okay, so the first one we're measuring is from the shoulder to our cleave line, and what we have there is 7 inches, and this is for the front. We also go ahead and measure for the back from the shoulder to the chest line at the back. What we have there is 8.5. So I'll add that up, and if you add the two, you have 15.5. So I went ahead to cut that as a single strap. Okay, so I cut two pieces. Now I also want to add a shorter strap. Okay, so I measured from my shoulder to my neck depth, and what I have there is 10 inches. So I also went ahead to cut out two of these. Now mind you that you're not adding any allowance to this. Okay, so we're going to still take off 0.5 each, and join it. Now the effect of this is that at the end of the day your strap is going to sit well on your shoulders. Okay. Okay, now to fix our straps, the short one is going to be at that center front. Okay, now the one measuring 15.5, I came in from the center front by 3.5 and I placed it there. Okay, now for the back, I came in by 4 inches from the center back and I also pinned the straps like so. Okay, now you take it to the sewing machine and attach your the short one on the long one. Okay, I've also gone ahead to stitch down my loops. Okay, I've stitched down my straps. Okay, so it's remaining just the back one. Now we'll go ahead and place our lining on it so that we can turn. Thing for me to go and do now is to turn. We're almost done. So now remember we left half inch, so I'm going to go and use half inch to turn this way, that way, around the cups. I'll do that around the cups, then this way as well. Okay, then I'll come back and show us. So we're going this way, up round the cups, and then back to this point, then I'll show us. Okay guys, so I'm done. This is it. I fixed the straps. So this is the inside. So it's ready. I also went ahead to prepare my skirt. So I have my skirt ready. Now I'm going to be attaching it to the skirt. Then I'll wear it. I'll wear it for us to see. Okay. I'll attach it to the skirt, then wear it for us to see. Okay, so this is it. The fitting is it for me, is just lovely. I also went ahead to cut out a modesty panel at the back. Okay, now this is just a very good style. Okay, kindly like, subscribe, share, and leave your comments in the comment section and I'll surely attend to them. I'll see you in my subsequent videos. Bye.